All right, so let's talk about the penis.
Let's talk about the penis.
Do you want to jump over there to that couch? We'll do this thing right now.
Is the cable long enough
Yeah.
for me? Yeah.
See, that's that kind of as a. It's gonna be hard not to say penis things while we're having this discussion.
What do you mean?
We just said,
Is it just
is the cable long enough for me? Right. That in itself is its own kind of innuendo.
very juvenile?
You can't really have these conversations.
It's long enough, but it could use a little more girth.
Okay, we're live again.
All right, you want to check the audio real quick?
Oh yeah, I should do that. Hang on. Okay, you say something.
You got me loud and clear.
Oh man, you sound so sexy.
That is, it's because I'm more relaxed sitting over here on the couch.
Yeah. All right, so take these headphones off again. Get myself situated. All right, my friends. So we're back here. You feel good? You're relaxed?
Yeah, this couch is awesome.
So I think the first time we did our podcast, we were actually in my son's bedroom.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is a little bit better.
it's a lot better.
I feel like we've grown up here. So we're in the official Wolf and Iron studio / Rustic and Main headquarters. And you guys are listening to another podcast of the Ask a Man series on the Wolf and Iron podcast. So this is the Ask a Man episode number 2, I imagine, of our second season. And we're back.
I was going to say we've definitely done this more than once. So we're in a different season now.
Well, we're in a different season. Yeah, we do seasons here.
Holy
Because
cow.
people do seasons with podcasts when they can't be consistent.
That's a hell of a cover up right there.
That's
and your
right, I
lack
know.
of professionalism.
Yeah, that's how you do it in the industry. So we're doing another season here. I don't know how long the season will go, but hopefully for a while. And
I love it. Complete spontaneity. Let's do this.
yeah, so I appreciate you guys tuning in here. The reason that we're doing this is because we did the first season. You guys loved it. I got some great feedback from you guys, and you guys sent over a few more questions for us to tackle. This was going to be a really fun one, really interesting one today. It's a bit of a challenge because we're going to be talking about girth of your member, and
It's going to be a challenge for me to not be a 12-year-old boy today.
yeah, same here. And but I also want to I do want to really take this seriously to some degree because I know it's a challenging subject for a lot of guys, and so we're going to tackle this thing. But before I jump into this full on here, send over some questions to us, guys. I know you're thinking about, so what would I ask a guy? If I could ask a guy anything about, it could be anything, politics, religion, family life, getting healthy, getting in shape, whatever the case is, what would you ask? And you can do that. You can ask Brandon and I those questions by going to wolfandiron.com/askaman and just email us from there. We'll take a look at those, and we'll be glad to get on the ball, answer those questions for you guys. Trustworthy responses coming from us. So today we're going to be talking about just sort of how does a guy, if he has the issue of worrying about the size of his penis, let's just be honest with you here, in one sense or another. Maybe he was, made fun of as a kid, jokes turned into insults, as it often happens with guys, especially when we're young. Or maybe it's just the porn industry has kind of given us this idea of, you got to have 18 inches, something, I don't know, whatever
Good Lord.
I don't even know. I need a ruler. I need a ruler around here or something. Whatever the outside the norm is, right? Those sort of get ingrained to us, and a lot of times this whole idea of the size of our member can affect our minds about the size of our manhood, and how we feel about ourselves and our confidence and that kind of stuff. So we're going to be just kind of talking through this. How do we think about it? What's the proper way to approach this? And so, as always, I kind of do the introduction here. I'm going to allow you to kind of share some of your thoughts. And it's funny because we don't rehearse this stuff at all, guys.
No.
So Brandon and I just kind of talk a little bit about what the questions are and kind of get some ideas going, and then we just jump into it. So we want it to be fresh for you guys, but this also means that we kind of think of stuff on the fly. And if I don't have answers in front of me, like if I haven't, the last episode, Manifest Destiny. That's what I was trying to come up with. The expansion of America.
Manifest.
I literally thought of it as soon as we got done with the episode.
Ironic because I actually named my penis Manifest Destiny. So.
We're tying these two things together.
All right.
All
I have to. I feel like I need a sign that says "You are an adult."
That's right.
Act accordingly. Honestly, it's all bull crap.
Yeah.
It's all it's all. I think the best place to start with getting information about how important the size of a penis is with women,
Okay.
and they generally don't care.
So are women knowledgeable about these types of things? Like, well, give us an illustration. How would you go
Well-
about getting this information? Would you just go to a woman and say, hey, I got a question for you?
Yeah, that could go all kinds of bad. It depends on the woman. It would have to be a woman that you trust. I would say your mom, but that could be hard. No, but yeah, this
Mom,
is
just
like-
out of curiosity.
this is- yeah, no. So I mean, I'm a happily married man,
Mhm.
but I've also got I've got a past.
Okay.
And I'm married to a very good Christian girl who, she's only experienced one penis her whole life. Hello. But I cannot say the same for myself. And not wait a minute. Hold on.
How many penises?
Negative. No, that was yeah. I was not a virgin when we got married.
Gotcha.
And I would say I'm an average sized member holder, and I don't I really don't think I think there's a bull crap stigma among men that it just doesn't matter as much as men think it matters.
Yeah, no, I agree there. And I think a lot of times the reason we're kind of joking about this, and instead of taking it like super seriously, like, oh, well, let's diagnose the issue, is because for most guys, size is in the realm of sort of jokes, right? It's because it is kind of a non-issue.
Yeah.
We make, that's why we don't use it in the negative all the time. A lot of times we say it in the positive. Oh man, this guy must have a big one, or he's got some big cojones to do what he did, right? And so we kind of associate it with manhood, but it's really in this sort of sense of just being kind of silly with it. I think that it's easy for guys to become self-conscious and self-aware of their own size, and they kind of, okay, am I big enough? Am I not big enough? Not only from like the pleasuring of your wife or whatever the case is, but just from a sense of self-worth. Like if this thing is always kind of towering over me, if I don't measure up, kind of idea, right?
Well, it's not towering over if you're not measuring.
That's
up.
true. That's right. No, it's not towering over anybody. But at the end of the day, guys, it is what it is.
Race what you brought.
Race what you brought.
That's a saying in like drag racing. Well, you brought that car, race it.
Yeah.
Well, I brought this penis. I'm alright. Just race what you brought.
You brought a penis to a
Do
drag
the
race.
best job you can with what you got.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And I'll tell you guys, there's we're not going to go into details here, but there are a lot more things that can be happening in the bedroom that don't involve the penis that are going to bring a lot more pleasure to your lady. So just throwing that out there. Okay. If she walks away happy, then you've done your job, she's not going to be thinking, well, if you had an extra half inch there, things would have been better, right? You either know what you're doing or you don't know what you're doing, type of thing. So
yeah. And the best way to learn what you're doing? Ask her.
Ask her.
She will tell you.
Ask her. I think this really isn't, even though it's a little bit more of a sensitive subject, I don't think it's any different than guys being short or guys being bald or guys being skinny or fat or whatever the case is. When you get this thing locked into your head that you're more self-aware of some part of yourself than probably other people are or think about or care about, this is really, I think, the issue we're talking about. So I don't think it's so much about, the issue of size, does size matter, does size not matter, those sort of things. I think it really has to do a lot more with self-confidence, self-esteem, maybe self-compassion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we tend to personify our penises in our mind and make that our self, and that's just not accurate. It's not healthy. You think about the most manly man you can think of. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Sure.
He might have a tiny, tiny little wanger.
He may.
he's still the freaking man in any room he walks into. And I don't know, man, just get over it. Like, if you're concerned about this, and I don't have a good tactical way to tell you to get over it, but get over it. Figure it out. Do the work. Figure out why this is such an issue for you and get past it.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
speaking from guys who I know have had this issue before, that reached out to me, a lot of times there's kind of a root there of maybe some sexual abuse in the past,
I never thought
uncle,
about
cousin, father, whatever kind of thing. Right. And somehow that kind of trauma has kind of helped lock in this negative view of themselves, and they've associated it with, penis size, manhood and sexuality kind of coinciding with one another, too strongly. And I think you do have to do some work, guys. I think you got to do some work,
Yeah.
To kind of go back and say, okay, where's this coming from? What is really the truth here? What am I really listening to as I'm thinking about when this kind of comes up and it bothers me? What am I really listening to here? Am I believing in the truth? Am I believing in the advice that I would give to somebody else? Or is there something else going on there? And I think you got to bring some healing in there, guys. And let's get serious here for a second. I think there's forgiveness that can take place here, forgiveness towards the people that have hurt you. I think there's forgiveness for yourself, just in believing lies for too long. I think you've got to bring God into this, right? To say, hey, God, I need some help kind of reimagining who I am in the way that you see me, right? I don't mean putting on like a false sense of bravado or, false sense of self-esteem that's not real. But I'm talking about true confidence. It really comes from a respecting of yourself in the way that God has shown you respect and love for you. So I think that there can be some work that has to be done here, aside from just the get over it. But I think you've got to take that on yourself and kind of figure out, where is this kind of coming from? What's the root of this thing?
And you know what? There's a great example that I just thought of.
All
Do you know who Nick I think it's Vujicic, or the guy from Australia?
Nope.
Life Without Limbs?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I feel bad for not knowing this guy. Since he apparently doesn't have limbs.
Just talking about mindset and thinking about yourself in the right light. This guy was born with no arms and no legs.
But a huge penis.
I don't think so, because I think he'd be walking on the damn thing all the time. No, literally, the guy has no arms and no legs. Attempted suicide multiple times as a child.
Wow.
Believe it or not, it's really hard to kill yourself when you don't have hands and feet, and so no arms, no legs. He is now a motivational speaker. He goes around all over the world. He was in Charlotte recently. I know some people that got to go see him. I didn't get to see him, and I was irritated about that. But anyhow, the guy, he had, if there's ever anybody that had less going for them than this guy, I don't know who they are. So no arms, no legs, multiple suicide attempts, thank God unsuccessful, is now a motivational speaker. He goes around and speaks to thousands and thousands of people all over the world. He is married to a beautiful woman and has at least 2 children now.
Wow.
If there's get over yourself.
Yeah.
If there was ever anybody that had the right to feel bad about themselves, it's this guy. And guess what? He doesn't. He loves himself just the way God made him. Because the way God made him is perfect.
Yeah.
It's not perfect by human standards, but in the economy of God, there are no mistakes, and he is awesome.
Yeah.
So just go be awesome.
That's good. I like that. Go be awesome. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say on this topic.
I got nothing left.
I think that, I'd love to hear thoughts on this. A lot of this does come to self-confidence and just self-respect, which is the same, one and the same. Really, true confidence really just comes from a matter of just respecting yourself. But also self-compassion, just knowing that you don't have it all figured out. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got hang-ups. I could sit here and name off a list of things that I wish were different about me.
You've got small calves.
I've got small calves. Brandon's looking at them right now, wishing I would do some freaking calf raises or something.
I'm 40 pounds overweight. What are we going to do?
Yeah. Well, actually, there is something you could do about it. My calves.
I can't think of a solution.
But they're all things that are just hang-ups, right? And you got to make that decision, like Brandon said. You just got to make the decision to say, I'm not going to allow that to control how I feel about myself, how I view myself, right? And you shouldn't. And so the issue is not the thing itself. Let's make that very apparent. You know, whether you're short, whether you're going bald, or whatever your hang up is, you're skinny, you're fat, you got small calves, whatever the case is, that's not the issue. The issue is how you believe, what you believe about that, what you believe it says about yourself. And so that's really where you guys got to focus, is where you got to go with these things. So that's all we got. I really kind of thought we'd have a little bit more on this, but honestly, it's pretty straightforward, fellas. You know, love yourself, love other people. I will say this. I want to finish with this. I was talking to a doctor guy about this, not for myself, but somehow we got into a discussion about penises because he's a good friend, and I was in his office, and you know, it only takes about 3 minutes, and we're a fart joke or some kind of joke. And he had this to say. He said, sometimes you have showers and you have growers. And I didn't.
Oh, I'm a grower.
You're a grower?
I'm not a shower.
Okay, that's good to know. And for those who are interested in wondering that on this podcast, you now know.
Should I not have shared that?
I don't know. I mean, that's fine. So, you know, it's not, you never know. So, and the reason I say that is some of you guys may be thinking, hey, you know, I'm in the locker room. I just got out of the shower. What if somebody sees me? I'm naked. You know, it's cold in here, whatever the case is. Look. You got showers and you got growers, and there's no, you know, sometimes all you see is what you get. Some guys, you know, you don't see much, and then there's a lot more there. How this comes about in conversations with patients, I have no idea, but I imagine he gets asked these kinds of questions.
Well, when I went through the police academy, we all had to shower together.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, there's some freaking rhinoceros penises. They're just, you know, whatever.
But that might be all they got.
But no, not only that, but like, I actually prefer the fact that I am a grower versus a shower, because when it's not business time, who wants that flopping all around there, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I don't know how PG we got to be here.
I don't know if it really matters yet. I mean, you know, it's nice to be able to wear running shorts without worrying about it. That's all I'm saying. You know?
Yeah.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah. Or like sitting on it, or, I mean, there's all kinds of mechanics and logistics at work there.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to end on that awesome note. Look, I appreciate you guys listening. I know this has been a bit of an odd one, but this is the kind of stuff we like to talk about. Well, not necessarily this type of stuff, but send us something that's not about penises. How about that? Head over to wolfandiron.com/askaman, and literally whatever questions you got, send over to us. We'd love to talk and just share our thoughts with these things for you guys. Let us know how this went. We actually have a Facebook group. It's free. A lot of awesome guys over there of high caliber that will certainly laugh and joke about this kind of stuff, but will also give you some solid thoughts and advice on just about anything we talk about here. You can get over to that Facebook group by going to wolfandiron.com/thegroup. That's /thegroup. And if you're not a member, you'll be prompted with a few questions to answer. Make sure you answer those, because we don't let just anybody in. We don't want the riffraff coming in there and being a part of this thing. So high caliber men over there having some great conversations. Great way to get plugged in with what's going on with Wolf and Iron. And until next time, keep your powder dry, and may a fair wind be always in your sails.